All right. I call to order the Municipal Authority meeting of September 16, 2024. We're just back from an executive session of the board to discuss personnel matters and litigation matters. I'll do a roll call. Maria Kane here, Tom Greco, not here. Walter Virginis.
Here.
Tim Kelly.
Here.
Stephen Mackel.
Here.
Okay. At this point, let's stand for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the board's had a chance to review the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Walter.
Second.
Second from Steve, I think was first. All right, any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Right? That motion passes. No public are here. Steve, you're not aware of any public comments or anything that okay?
I'm not.
All right, moving on then. Everybody's had a chance to review the minutes from the August 19 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Do I hear a second? Second from Tim. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that motion passes. At this point, we'll take the treasurer's report.
Yeah, so I just handed out the treasurer's report to you. It's not a whole lot changed from, I think, the last time I talked to you about where we were financially. I did just go through and make sure everything was updated through the end of August, and looked at it. As a whole, we're still doing well. We're going to have some large payments that we still have to make. We had to do the bond payment in August, and we also, which I don't think was recorded in here, but we have that, and then we have the two payments to CDCA and to RHM that haven't been processed. You'll get those in October. So as a whole, I think we're in pretty good shape. We have, if you look at the revenues, we're a little behind, but we're halfway through the year. I think we're okay overall. We're up a little bit in the SR3. Most of that's tap-in fees. If you look at that, if you take out the tap-in fees, you'll see that we're a little bit behind. But based on our expenditures, I think we're okay. So I'm not concerned about that. The only other thing that I would tell you is, as once we get the new finance person in, I'm going to spend some time with them, getting them up to speed on that, on how yours are done. There may be some dollars that we're not capturing in the way we're doing the billing. We may not be picking up everybody's EDUs, and so I just have to go back and verify that. But I'm going to wait till the new person's in, so that I can let them be a part of that part of the project, and we'll go back and look at that. And where you see that is under SR3, when you see the infrastructure and the debt service, it's actually off for being about half of the year. So I just want to go back through and just check that and find out why we're that far off compared to what the revenue is. And I'm anticipating it has to do with some of the commercial spots not being charged the right number of EDUs, and we'll go back and verify that. So,
Does that concern you at all that we may not be charging the right number of EDUs?
well, obviously it concerns me. That's why I want to go back and look at it. Yeah, but what I don't know is, did the right number of EDUs get loaded into our program that we thought we had? And so is it just not picking it up right? Because other than that, I don't know why we're so far off, unless I've done some major miscalculation on my
Because
side.
I'm wondering, isn't the EDUs already entered into the system? As
Yeah,
far as-
but one of the things that we had to do in SR2 and SR3 was go back on anything that was prior in the system prior to the new build out.
Okay,
And we had to determine what those EDUs were before we did the billing for the debt service and the infrastructure, because they're both based on the number of EDUs. And so we worked with Dave to go back through and get all of those numbers. And I thought we had a different, like I would have guessed my number would have been a little bit different after 2 quarters. The first quarter, I knew we were behind because we were still getting some in. But the fact that we're still down after the second quarter's billing, I want to go back through and just make sure it's right. But I want to bring in when we bring in the new finance person, I want them to help go through that and stay on top of it versus me being the one that's chasing it by myself. So that way I'm sure I've got somebody who's working with the department people to make sure it gets done.
that might be my ignorance in accounting, but do you believe this may be just translating to something on paper and the actual is different?
The only thing that
Does that make any sense?
yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't think the actual is different. I think what you're seeing is what we're billing. So
Okay.
I don't question that part.
Okay,
What I question is when the number of EDUs was added in the system, was it added in the right place for all of the customers? Because if it wasn't added in the right place, when they go to do the billing, it may be pulling from if it's not pulling from the right spot in the program, that's what I anticipate is the problem. Because we had prior to us doing this type of billing, they had 2 places they were entering EDUs. What I don't know is, did we get them all put in the one that's being used as the multiplier? And that's the piece that I'm getting checked out.
I'm just anticipating, are we going to have to rebuild?
Well, I would only go back for the current year if I did, because I think going back any further than that's probably, you're not going to get much anyhow. And
Yeah.
we've only been doing it for this year. So
Gotcha.
I think it's a 1-year issue, and I think it's 2 quarters at this point, maybe 3 by the time we get it figured out. But we will go back and look at it.
Thank you for highlighting that.
Yep.
All right, is that it? For
That's the report, unless anybody has any other questions.
Any questions? All right. Moving on then to Dave Porter with the engineers report from McCombie Engineers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Spoke briefly at the last meeting about responding to some NOT comments from Delaware County Conservation District, which I worked with my team to pull that information from sewer project, got them that information. They just have to package that up and get it back into the Conservation District, which I believe is on our draftsman schedule and our junior engineer schedule to get that out this week. The drafting schedule for the Ross sanitary sewer lateral evaluation is also on our schedule for this coming week. We continue to work on getting landscapers quotes for doing the wetland restoration and monitoring. Again, it's been very difficult to get folks to respond, similar to how we've been trying to get quotes on the crane repair. You'll see in the report a little farther down that we have responses from Wexcon and from JD Ekman, and they both indicated that the scope of the job is such that they're too busy to work that into their schedule. So again, we had the 2 quotes that the authority could act on, unless you want to give it another month. I'll see if I can get a 3rd quote, but keep in mind they are under the written and telephonic quote threshold.
No, I think I don't want to interrupt, but I think we need to move forward and get this off of our plate. The 2 quotes are pretty close together, so I think I don't know.
Yeah,
The lowest one, I'm assuming.
Yeah, JMC for reference. JMC is a contractor that did the bank restoration project over on Summit Avenue.
Okay,
So they were the low bid on that project, and that project was fantastic. Benchmark Site Contractor is actually the contractor that's doing the site work out at Stony Knoll. So they're close by.
Okay.
And they've been doing a relatively good job out at that particular site as well.
Are we within policy, Mike, if we go ahead and take the lowest of those two without getting a
I
third?
think it needs to be on next month's agenda. I mean, you can't obligate yourself to spend funds without it being on the agenda.
Yeah.
Sorry, without it being on an agenda.
No, absolutely, yeah. But I just mean like, let's move it forward and get it.
Yeah,
get it
sure,
Before
of
us
course,
for
yep.
formal
So
approval.
what I'll do is I'll write a recommendation letter for the authority to have it on next month's agenda for action item.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rather than spending more time this month trying to get another bid in and that type of thing. Okay, yes. So let's go ahead and do that. Walter just making a note of that, right? Make sure we have it on the agenda for next. Okay, and sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. Just looking back to where I left. Okay, so we do have a quote in from Xylem, which was formerly Evoqua Systems. They are the contractor that was the source for all the bioxide systems for the new pump stations in the township. So there was a quote received from them for monthly maintenance for 4 pump stations where we have the bioxide systems. It includes monitoring, sampling, adjusting any of the dosing requirements, and then doing any operation and maintenance for parts that need to be replaced on a monthly basis. So they quoted $550 per month for the 4 pump stations, which equates to $6,600 per year. And that's, Newtown Hunt, Goshen Road, Springton Estates, and Old Masters pump stations. With that, they also provided a per gallon cost for the liquid bioxide for delivery, and that was at $3.39 per gallon, $3.39 per gallon. So what I'll do is I'll put that in writing as well to the authority. And I'll get you a copy of that quote so you can discuss it and we can evaluate it, and the authority can be in a position to take action on that at the next monthly meeting. Still no word on the local share grant. Steve, I don't know if you've heard anything. It was supposed to be second quarter 2024. We're a little past that at this point.
I haven't been awarded.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything at all. So I have an updated bid package for the Westchester Pike sewer replacement, which includes a new crossing at Westchester Pike near Dunwoody Village. It includes an alternate for replacement of the French Road sewer, and then an alternate for just providing manhole access and clean out access at that location at French Road. It also includes repair of the sanitary sewer at 126 Bryn Mawr Avenue. My recommendation is to put that out to bid within the next month. Have bids received by the November authority meeting and be in a position to award bid at the December meeting. There are 2 HOPs that need to be acquired. One we've already received for the former Westchester Pike bid, so that's a renewal. The other one, the crossing at Dunwoody Village, we have to get a new utility crossing HOP for that. None of the other ones involve state highway work. Other than that, everything else has been drafted and packaged and the plans are all ready to go. So I just need to get the HOP work underway and we can advertise and put that out to bid over the next 2 to 4 weeks.
What action do we need to take on that?
I think I got direction from the authority last month to
Yeah.
prepare and
Okay.
put the project out to bid. So it's just a matter of getting, notice to Steve for, advertising. And then if there's any HOP applications that need to be signed, Steve can sign on behalf of the authority. And
Do you use pen bid?
we do, yeah.
Okay, so we'll
Yep.
just go through pen bid, like, that's fine.
That's good.
With regard to French Road, I just wanted to let the authority know that I did speak with the owner at 307 about the potential easement for access via that particular person's driveway. During that conversation, she questioned whether there was an easement in place for the sanitary sewer behind her home and the other homes that it services. Steve had provided that information to me a while back. I forwarded that on to her just so you're aware, so she has it. And she may have some questions about what she has done as far as maintenance of that line in the past when there's been blockages. So I don't know if she'll come back to the authority and ask for any reimbursement or. So just so you're aware, that did come up during that conversation. I'll just leave it at that. I don't think I really have anything else to add. The fog program with regard to the grease traps at Luigi and Giovanni, they've still yet to deliver on their action items with regard to the O&M portion. They didn't have anybody generate a report. They did provide evidence that they engaged with an engineer. I spoke with their engineer in June. I still have not received a report, no recommendations for their frequency of maintenance. And they have certainly not entered into an O&M agreement with the authority. So at this point, I'll work with Steve and the code staff to go ahead and cite as appropriate. Still working ongoing with the remaining tenants at Ellis Preserve for capacity consistency. Processed the final releases and got the paperwork for Toll Brothers for Lister phases 2 and 3. And asked to attend a meeting with regard to Debaton and the sanitary sewer EDUs and the prior contributions that were made to the authority with regard to that capacity. And that meeting is tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And that concludes my engineer's report.
And Steve, you'll be at that meeting tomorrow?
Will.
Mike?
I will.
You as well. Great.
And we're also bringing in, just so that there's full disclosure, the engineer that was recommended to assist through this project from the developer side was Mr. Catania, Charles Catania, who happens to be our conflict engineer. I let them know that up front. They were okay with that. So just wanted to let you know that.
Sounds good. They finally have, they have some professional assistance.
Yep.
Yeah, they got a lawyer coming too.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I think that's good. I mean, it's, maybe we can get something done. Oh. Okay. Anything else?
All I have. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I just thought with your report, there were some things that, we don't talk about that are still on here, older ones. I don't know how we should handle that if you want to start taking some things.
Yeah,
off,
that
or-
might be something that we could discuss, and I could certainly discuss with Steve over the next month or so. Some of them were prior action items
Yeah.
for the authority that we've not heard anything from the property owner in quite
Yeah.
some time. And other ones tied to some of the litigation at Rafferty, so that probably can be removed or put on a different list and be re-added when the time comes.
Yeah, okay, it was just a thought. I mean,
Sure.
I'd leave it to you if you think it needs to stay there as a reminder, and Steve as well, so.
Well, maybe what we'll do is we'll have things that are active on the report and things that are kind of,
Yeah,
You
I
know,
like
like-
that,
like
yeah,
just down below that are things that are, we're still waiting, something that's outside of the authority's control.
okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Next, Steve, do you have anything for the operation?
Yeah, I don't have a lot. I'm still waiting on the KVX report. I think it actually came in late and after the agenda was already released. So I didn't do anything with it. So you'll be getting that probably 2 next month. In that, I did a quick look through. I didn't see anything on it that made me think, oh, we've got an issue that I need to make sure you're aware of. They're just doing their normal stuff. I do believe they're getting ready for their second half of the year cleanouts coming up soon. So I don't know if that's in October or November, but that'll be coming.
Appreciate it.
And I'll be sending out an email inviting you all for just a ride around to go see those places, anybody that's interested.
Good.
Now that the fall is here.
Hopefully the
it's-
wind's blowing in the right
Yeah,
direction.
well,
you know.
and now that the fall's here, it's not quite as hot, so we can make it a little bit more pleasant of a trip.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Anybody have any other questions for Steve or anybody else? Okay. All right, next we're consider approving the bills on check register A dated September 16, 2024, totaling $19,383.46. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Walter. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Second from Steve. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, new business we have on here, request for a relief from late fees accrued on sewer bill for 101 North Newtown Street Road in the amount of $31.27. Do I hear a motion? I'll make the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
A second, I think that Walt was first on that. Do you want to give us an explanation of this one, Steve, if you have anything? I think there was something in our
I
packet.
think it was in your packet. I'll answer any questions that you have. I, be honest with you, what's in the packet was really all I know, so, but if there's a question, I'll try to answer.
I think there was a claim that it was sent to the wrong address, is that?
That is correct.
Okay.
Well, let me back up. I think it was sent to one.
The physical location
The
as
physical
opposed to the owner.
location. The property owner is claiming it should have been sent to his residence, not to that location. And that's the reason why it had gotten in there. My initial comment, I'm not sure how we were supposed to know that. Other than his argument was, well, you knew because you had it in the township's records. Well, we probably did, but even though we were working together out of the same office, we don't always, if somebody doesn't tell us for the municipal authority side, we don't necessarily know that that's how it's handling, because some of our landlords actually do have it sent to the property where they're renting, and in this case, they're not renting right now and haven't been, and that's why it became an issue. So
Are they
but-
living there now or?
they're not living there. I believe it's just currently a vacant property.
Right.
Is my understanding, and has been for a little over a year.
Can we adjust the billing as to where it's being sent now?
We have now adjusted the billing to where it's going.
Well, I think we can, does everybody have enough information to vote?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the motion passes. It requests, there's also a request for a refund from express bill payment error for Drexel Lodge rental fee for Aaron Daly in the amount of $175.
So moved.
Motion from Walter. Do I hear a
Second.
second from Steve? Okay, any questions on this one before we take a vote? Did everybody feel comfortable with this? Okay,
Just real quick, just so you would know what this is, I think you've seen these before, but
Mhm.
somebody went in and used express bill pay
Yeah.
to pay something for the township. If it had been to pay something for you, we would just move the money, but they paid something for the township. So we need to reimburse them and so that they can have it. And they ended up not using the lodge. They ended up not renting it. So we would have had to return it from the township. So we didn't move it to the township to return it to them. We're just returning it.
gotcha,
from you.
gotcha. Perfect. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, if there's nothing else for the good of the order, I'll adjourn the meeting. Oh.
Thank you.